with you the culmination of this year of an anniversary. I had set for my colleagues and for ourselves an objective for this 60th anniversary of the convention. That is one of the United Nations conventions which is most subscribed to or adhered to by states. We had, when I joined the Secretariat, we had 157 member states, and the objective was that by the end of this anniversary year, we would be 160, and this is happening indeed. And I got this wonderful message last week. We will have Papua New Guinea becoming our 160th member state before the end of the month of June, which means that it's mission accomplished, and I'm very proud to share that with you. This year will witness the signing of the United Nations Convention on International Settlement Agreements resulting from mediation, which will be known as the Singapore Convention. This convention was adopted last year in December by the General Assembly of the United Nations, and it applies to international settlement agreements resulting from mediation. It establishes a harmonized legal framework for the right to invoke settlement agreements as well as their enforcement, and it will be a useful complement to the New York Convention and hopefully equally successful. Both instruments are meant to contribute to facilitate international trade and to promote mediation as an alternative and effective method of resolving commercial disputes. Strengthening the enforcement of contracts and access to justice is a further step towards a mature, rules-based global commercial system, implementing thereby the Sustainable Development Goals and principally the Sustainable Development Goal number 16. If you allow me, and if you indulge me, I would like to focus my lecture today on promoting the work of UNCITRAL, and particularly this new cornerstone instrument of international dispute settlement and the newly established comprehensive international framework for mediation. I'm quite passionate about these two topics, and I hope that you will bear with me throughout this presentation. It gives me particular pleasure to give this lecture here in Jamaica, a country that has been most active in the field of international arbitration and mediation recently. In the last 2 years, Jamaica has significantly modernized its legal framework for international arbitration. In 2017, Jamaica adopted its new Arbitration Act, which is based on the UNCITRAL Model Law on International Commercial Arbitration. The model law reflects worldwide consensus on key aspects of international arbitration practice, and it has been adopted by more than 80 states. The new law is now replacing the former Arbitration Act of 1900, which was based on the England Arbitration Act of 1889. The same year, the Jamaican International Arbitration Center, I call it JIAC, but maybe it's not the way you... So I promise not too many acronyms, but so JIAC, the host of this event, was created, and the JIAC arbitration rules adopted following also the UNCITRAL arbitration rules as revised in 2013. And also, since its creation in 2017, the Judicial Education Institute of Jamaica is training Jamaican judges and court staff on the application and interpretation of the New York Convention. Hopefully soon also on the Singapore Convention. A functioning judiciary is essential for a flourishing arbitration system, as it helps to ensure the correct and predictable application of international instruments. The judiciary is the enabler and the safety net of arbitration. The judiciary has early on found self-interest in promoting mediation as a credible alternative method to settle disputes. Jamaica, I hear, and I'm quite encouraged, is proactively supporting the development of its mediation practice. The Minister of Justice is looking to increase the use of mediation in resolving disputes in order to reduce the number of cases that go to the courts. I will quote, if you allow me, a press conference of earlier this year where you said that we're going to ensure that mediation is a major source of dispute resolution in our country. This is music to our ears, as you can imagine. We're very much looking forward to your participation, Honourable Minister, and to the participation of your delegation in the forthcoming signing ceremony of the Singapore Convention on 7 August in Singapore. We're convinced that these measures will help Jamaica to pursue its goal of developing alternative dispute resolution in the country and becoming an attractive jurisdiction for international arbitration and mediation. I very much support this idea of Jamaica becoming the hub for international arbitration in the Western Hemisphere. I will be there to witness this and to support it as much as I can. In the panel later, tomorrow, we will discuss the impact of a conducive framework for international arbitration and mediation on the doing business and the investing across borders indicators of the World Bank. My long years interacting with governments have taught me that this generally catches the attention of heads of state and heads of government to see their country go up or down in the ranking. A solid framework for alternative dispute resolution is a good way for making it up in the ranking. And here again, if we can help you, we will stand by. I could talk for hours to make the case for arbitration and mediation, but our gathering here today is better than many words. There might be representatives of Caribbean states here today, and I would like to take this opportunity to invite you to join us in August in Singapore. Indeed, the trend towards modern and international arbitration regulations can be observed beyond Jamaica in other Caribbean states. In the last decade, Barbados, Cuba, the Dominican Republic, the Bahamas, and BVI adopted new commercial arbitration laws in line with the UNCITRAL model law. And alongside Jamaica, the BVI has created an international arbitration center. Antigua, Barbuda, and the Bahamas announced the creation of their own arbitration centers as well. I would have liked to attend the arbitration meeting that took place last week in the Bahamas at the invitation of my dear friend Bertha Rousseau, but I could not. I privileged being here, and I look very much forward to catching up later in the year. It becomes evident from the above that arbitration will continue to play an important role in the economic development in Jamaica and the Caribbean in the future, and we at UNCITRAL are looking forward to supporting this development within the scope of our mandate. But let me talk a bit about the UNCITRAL Commission I have the honor to serve. The United Nations Commission on International Trade Law is a commission of the General Assembly of the United Nations, and it is recognized as the core legal body of the UN system in the field of international trade. United Nations General Assembly Resolution 2205 of December 1966 established UNCITRAL and mandated it with the progressive harmonization and unification of the law of international trade, considering that international trade cooperation among states is an important factor in the promotion of friendly relations and consequently in the maintenance of peace and security. You can imagine how proud we are of this mandate. When explaining what UNCITRAL has been doing over the years, I will have to take a look back at the time it was established. UNCITRAL was created during the Cold War, after the Cuban Missile Crisis, the one that took place just somewhere up north in 1962, and that had shown the limits of a purely confrontational approach. In a speech at the General Assembly, John F. Kennedy, the then US President, argued that peace might be attainable by nations with different ideologies if they negotiate, since peace is a daily, a weekly, a monthly process, gradually changing opinions, slowly eroding old barriers, quietly building new structures. He advocated that it should not be the difference that matters most, but rather peaceful cooperation in all areas. When discussing the establishment of UNCITRAL, a delegate from the Union of the Soviet Socialist Republics took a very similar stance. He considered that the time had come for the United Nations to play a more active part in the legal regulation of international trade. Trade is an important factor in economic development, social progress, and the development of international understanding. As a result of economic expansion by the socialist countries, along with decolonization, conditions were now favorable for the development of world trade, which in turn could help to promote peaceful coexistence. UNCITRAL found in its cradle in 1966. This idea of building peace on a daily basis, I like to call it peace at the grassroots, is what UNCITRAL seeks to implement in its legislative work. We are indeed a multilateral forum, where states can peacefully find common solutions to problems that arise in international economic relations. I usually illustrate it with the work we are currently undertaking in our Working Group 3, in reforming investor-to-state dispute settlement and finding solutions to the concerns identified by all stakeholders. We will have a session during this conference, and I look very much forward to sharing views and also sharing what UNCITRAL what has taken place so far in UNCITRAL's working group on reform of investor-to-state dispute settlement. I can also illustrate the approach we are taking in UNCITRAL to build bridges between legal traditions and harmonize different legal systems to make it easier to trade and invest across borders with the work of our working group on insolvency or our working group on electronic commerce. Developing international trade law on a multilateral basis does not mean that the national legislator is to be replaced by an international one. When the General Assembly deliberated on UNCITRAL's creation, it did so on the basis of a study, the Schmidt-Hoff study, considered to be UNCITRAL's pre-founding document. The study provided background information and highlighted the main aspects to be considered when dealing with international trade law on a multilateral basis. The study stressed the need to establish a commission at the level of the United Nations General Assembly, advocated for such a commission to draft internationally acceptable legal solutions, but highlighted that action such as incorporating elements into the national legal framework should be done at the discretion of individual states, leave and license of national sovereign. Legislative instruments developed by UNCITRAL have to be adhered to or enacted by the national legislators. Whether international conventions, model legislative texts, legislative guides, or other soft law instruments such as, for instance, arbitration rules, they all have to be adopted by domestic legislators or chosen by the parties to a dispute to become applicable law or applicable rules for the transactions or the disputes at hand.